I see
leak
like
that,
kids on
Ash.
live,
Don't leak
even when I
that.
see like kids on live, it makes me cringe.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
But then
it's
how
just not
would you
safe.
see
It's
it as
just not safe.
like people that share their kids, like celebrities and stuff, so they share their children online, a lot of them do, or the paparazzi. So is it the same kind of thing as that? Would you say that they shouldn't be doing that as well?
I don't know. I don't.
It's a
I
very,
mean,
yeah,
obviously,
it's
it's
tricky,
down
isn't
to
it?
individual, but I just don't think. And I mean, I say this. I've shared pictures of my kids on my Facebook. I had a public page, obviously, for people that were following my daughter's journey, and there are pictures of her on that page, because obviously that was raising awareness about a condition. But at the same
Right.
time, I, you know, I don't feel comfortable. Like, I rarely share pictures of my son. Like, I have pictures of my daughter on my Instagram because that's about sharing her story and raising awareness of her condition. But
Well,
I
thing is,
don't.
though, you've had your daughter's permission for that,
No,
and
because
this is.
she's dead, Eddie. So
Oh,
Oh, I'm very
sorry,
sorry to hear
sweetheart. I'm
that.
sorry to hear that, sweetheart.
sorry.
I
That
think
was
it's different though
As a
because
mum,
that,
she would have given
that
you
was a bit
permission.
crass. Sorry, but yeah, it's
that would have
let's
been a
just say it's
different.
implied consent because she's no longer with us. But yeah,
But I think with that though, you would have had a different target audience and a different community, not community, but you know what I mean. For those kind of people, it's different. Whereas you're showing it on TikTok, there's more of a ballpark of wrong people. Whereas online, on your Facebook, you had that following because they want to support you and your daughter.
Yeah, and they
now
were
that
also
condition.
there for knowledge on the condition. I just want to apologise to Eddie and to the chat because that was a bit what's
No,
the
no,
word?
no, no, no.
Laissez faire, you know what I mean? It was a bit
Jelly, no,
blank,
because
but
it's
that should have
no.
come with a trigger warning as well. But if if you're in my live, you will know that anyway. So, but yeah, you're right, Jake. There was a completely different audience. It was a completely different thing. And yeah, just in spaces like this, I probably wouldn't. And I don't
Jenny,
share
you
Yeah,
didn't need
pictures
to
of my
apologise,
son.
sweetheart, because one, I don't know your background, and two, you're on this platform, and I know what you like, and we have a friendship, and it's going to take a lot to break that, sweetheart. So I thank you, but you didn't need to.
Yeah, no,
I think we should normalize that though because it's your truth, it's your story. You shouldn't have to apologize for that. You shouldn't have to apologize for telling what happened. Like it's not like, you know what I mean. It's your truth,
yeah,
so
and
don't ever apologize.
it's not that. It's just I just need to be a
You've
bit
got
more
a big
mindful.
heart. You've
I
got a
need
big
to be a
heart,
bit more
sweetheart.
mindful of people that are in the comments. Maybe that didn't know. So and have experienced that. That was the only thing. But obviously, people
Right? Yeah.
frequent my room a lot. We had a discussion the other day about child loss and that. So, but yeah, it is obviously I can't get a consent for that reason, and there's not. It's not crass. It's just matter of fact. There isn't really a
Yeah.
sugar-coated way
No.
to
No, there's
say
no
that.
way you can say
So,
that without. Yeah.
But going back to making your footprint on this app, I work in IT, and I'll tell you now, you can delete absolutely everything, but unfortunately, there'll be a copy of it somewhere else. I'm speaking that because I'm actually in cybersecurity, and we
thank you,
find stuff all
Soundbite.
over the place. And if it's not on here, it'll be on the dark side. So please, folks. I'm happy to show people how.
Sorry.
So just going back to like social media, Jelly, right? So like, and the internet in general. So there's pretty much an answer to any problem that you can think of is on the internet or on social media. So like, if you want to lose weight, you can find it out. How to make money, how to find love, how to be happy, how to deal with pain, trauma, whatever. Everything's there, right? Just by touching a few buttons on your keypad, right? But why are people, if all that's there, why are people struggling now more than ever?
Yeah, I can't lie, Millsy. I think I mean, I'd say TikTok specifically, but I do think social media is making us stupider. Can I help you?
Oh,
I think it's not because they don't know what to do, but it's easier to read and consume information than actually take action and follow it through once you've read it, right? A lot of people will look it up and they'll see it, but they won't actually go ahead with it and help themselves, right?
and how much is that information factual?
I think
I'm back again.
we're correct.
Please, Chelsea, you're back more than fresh, mate.
I
I'm gonna have to
know,
get
I
some
know,
cream,
it's
I'm telling
terrible.
you.
I have to have antibiotics. When I have antibiotics, I have to have cream for that bad boy. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Millsy, I just wanted to touch on what you're saying. Do you know what? Like, you know, obviously you're saying about like Googling stuff. Do you know how I feel like that's so unhealthy? Like, because every individual's way of finding love or finding friendship or making money and this, that, and the other is all so different. Like, I do feel like if people more went outside and experienced things and met different people, like I feel like the quality that they would have from that would be so much better than them trying to seek advice for online for people when we're all different people.
And can I just say, Chicken Lover makes a great point as well, saying why there is an immense amount of info out there. It's not all good info. And can I just say, it's not all correct info as well.
True.
Like, hold on, I'll just Google that. You can Google something and it will come up with 12 different answers. Not all of them are correct. And you can pick the answer that suits your narrative. That doesn't make you right just because Google gave you that answer.
And people, please don't believe Wikipedia because anyone can edit something on
God,
Wikipedia.
I'm kind of in between what Chelsea was saying earlier and what you're saying as well. So it's like some people they can find information out and they can look it up, but do they actually follow it through and do anything about it? And I just think like doing 20 minutes of something is more valuable than 20 hours of just thinking about it or reading it on Google, right? It's like going back to what Chelsea said, try and get yourself out there. I know not everyone can, but try and do something to take your mind away from this fucking toxic app.
Look, let's be like, if I'm realistic, like I'm not going to say too much about my job, but the way the world has changed and the way that more people are affected by mental health is huge compared to what it used to be. And you've got to sit there and start asking yourself, why is that? And if people don't believe that social media and the internet hasn't played a massive part of that, I mean, I'm sorry, but you really need to look it up. If people actually went back to how it was back in the day when we all went out and played pom-pom and Kirby and met loads of friends and spoke to each other and experienced the world and learned about the world, not through the internet or social media, I generally think people's mental health might be in a better space. So that's why personally for me, I just wish that more people, and I know again, and I'll repeat myself, I know some people that's a lot harder to do for others. I just wish if people went out and actually just experienced life together and learned things, I think the world would be such a better place.
I think the word influencer has not helped the world because people think that person is speaking fact, truth, and they are the god and know all of all that information. And they've got no formal qualifications. They've got no idea. It's just what's in their little world. There's no such thing as an influencer. Go out there, touch the grass, meet the real people, and talk to people in the real world. You learn so much more from the older generation that have been there, seen it, and done it. And they could probably give you the right answer or
it's
the
not
right
just
advice.
it's not just that magic. Like, do you know how many of the influencers I see that's got children and their house looks absolutely perfect and spotless all the time? And do you know how many times I sit there and go, fucking hell, I need to get a grip? That's not reality. It's not
No, it isn't.
reality.
Not real life.
And people really put themselves down because of that. It's going to be the same this Christmas, right? People are going to put the picture up of their Christmas tree with all the presents underneath it. And you're going to have families that are really struggling and really trying to do their best for their children. And they're going to look at that and they're going to feel shit. But what I want to tell you is, if people are doing that, right, just think to yourself, okay, that might be happening, but guess what I'm going to do Christmas Day? Instead of my kids playing on their own with all them different toys that are going to take up their whole day, I'm going to sit and play board games with my kids and I'm going to make memories with my kids. Because this is a massive, massive problem on social media. 100% it's a huge problem. What people put out there isn't reality. And even if for 1 second you feel a little bit shit about that picture you've seen and you've gone, do you know what, I haven't got that much for my kids. Your kids, when they're older, are not going to remember that toy car that was under that tree. They're going to remember sitting down, having a laugh with their family, playing board games, playing silly games together, experiencing stuff together, going and walking around on Christmas Day and looking up all the Christmas lights. That's what they're going to remember, not what's been put under that tree.
And
So
how many
I've
people
said
are in,
before, sorry, Eddie, I've said before that, I mean, I think in terms of phases and, you know, all sorts of things, I think everything is cyclical. And I think what's going to happen is we are going to reach a stage where society splits. This is going to get a bit, just stick with me and let me land, because this is going to go a bit wide here, but we're going to reach a point where society will split into two factions, where we will have one that will be a technological social media society, and another one that will be like back to, you know, off grid, living off the land, all that kind of thing. Because I think it will just get too much for some people, and there are already people that live like that.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is how many
Chelsea's
people.
gone.
Have you been watching Hunger Games, Jelly, by any chance?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly like
Hunger
that.
Games.
I do genuinely believe that we will go back to existing like that, or that
Do you
there
know what
will
it
be
is?
people that will do.
Do you know what it is? I think
had a thing that said my life's
basically,
been restricted, and it's confused me.
I think like I've had it, so like I've not to try and make about me because you can tell me to shut up, but I compare myself because I'm not where I want to be in my life in terms of like development and stuff and just how I am, and I just always go on social media to compare myself constantly to other people my age and stuff, and it just gets me really down. And I'm not, I mean, I'm getting like, I'm not trying to want very, but I'm in therapy for it, and you just have to like learn just to accept that this is your path, and the path that you wanted is not necessarily the path that was meant to be, and the path that the journey that you did go on, it's made you who you are today, and it's made you a stronger person.
I am worried for this generation now, though, coming up. I mean, my son, he's 20, and it's so hard to at his age. I was out with my friends. I met my partner, my husband, and he is still not at that stage, and everything's online. Oh, I'm talking to I've got a friend online. She's a girl. She lives in Canada. I can't wait to go to Canada. It's like, get out of the house, go out and meet someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that goes into what Cockapoo is saying. She said, I've never known so many kids with so much anxiety. And I do think that social media feeds into that in a big way.
It does, because this social media is full of emotional vampires, right? I know there's emotional vampires everywhere, but the majority of the people that you speak to on this app on a daily, you would not even be speaking to them on the outside.
No,
so
I've
I think
said this, Millsy.
You know, you're more going to have problems health-wise online, and I think you're outside of this. And then whoever it is, it's the emotional vampire. They always seem to have problems or some sort of dramas every day, and then every conversation reverts back to them and their life, and they're always the victim, and their pity parties here and there, and they will just suck the life out of you. And you just have to kind of, if you use social media, come on to places, as Chelsea said, that make you feel happy. Ever go, just entertain conversations or problems where there's going to be a solution, not a problem, because you'll never ever get an end goal to it, right? And it's just going to bring you down. So, but as I say, yeah, the majority of folk you speak to on here on a daily, would you entertain them outside? No, you wouldn't.
No, I think, I don't, what were we today? Wednesday? I think it was last week I said exactly this, Millsy. And this is something that worries me about TikTok specifically, is that we are becoming desensitized to, not everybody in a sweeping generalization, but you see it day in and day out, particularly on Drama Talk. We are becoming desensitized to behavior that is acceptable and isn't acceptable. We sit in space and accept behavior from people that we would not accept in real life. And I worry about what that's going to lead to.
unfortunately, it's becoming what TikTok is becoming reality, and reality is becoming virtual reality. It seems to be swapping over, and it just scares the hell out of everybody. But I've always taught my son, took him to football, done scouts, done everything we can, joined clubs out in the community, and he prefers to be outside than inside, and it's all it's all messed up. But people need to realise that this is virtual reality. What's in this bubble is not truthful.
But the other thing from that, Eddie, as well, as we're talking on, believing the children are our future, when they tune into TikTok and they are seeing that it's this behaviour that's rewarded, it's acting this way that's rewarded.
Yeah.
That is not a great example.
Yeah. Not everyone though, Jill, I would say, because I think like my son's 17, he's nearly 18, and he sits on a daily and he says to me, "What is that you're listening to? What the hell are you watching? Why do you watch
mine's
that?"
the same,
There are people that know that children that know that this is toxic and would never entertain it. But there are some, obviously, as you say.
I would go so far as to say, Millsy, maybe I'm contradicting myself. I would go so far as to say that maybe they're actually more educated than we are in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Because my son's exactly the same. He says to me, "What the frickin' hell are you listening to?"
No, I think there's a lot more.
My husband can't cope with it sometimes. So
when I left
he
school,
really does think I'm getting dumber by the day.
When I left school like 10 years ago, I think they were just sort of introducing like online safety and more teaching about kind of awareness and things. So it's probably just got a lot more regulated and a lot more taught because it's so big now, social media and things.
A lot of schools do talk about it now as well.
I think our generation was like one of the best generations. I'm 40, so we had our childhood, before any of mobile phones came out or anything, and then we were the first ones to have the mobile phones, so we kind of know what it's like without. But I will say, Chelsea did make a point about memories and Christmas and everything like that. The only thing I can really remember as a kid is not getting the Mr. Frosty.
Oh man, Mr. Frosty.
Oh, traumatised me, that did as well.
I still go at my mum.
Do you know what I remember? I remember being agitated by the fact that my speak and spell wouldn't say naughty words.
Or typing numbers on a calculator and turning it upside down to make words.
Yeah.
Yes.
There will be generations that don't know that you could put boobless on a calculator.
Yeah, but they must still use them.
Jake, did you ever put boobless on a calculator?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, you can stay there.
I left in 2015, so we all did it. So yeah, they still use calculators, so they must still do it. I feel like it's passed down.
No, I don't know. I feel like there are people that don't put boobless in a calculator.
And how many arguments do you remember at Christmas playing Monopoly?
Oh, I still do that now every Christmas.
Eddie, my son showed me a TikTok last night, which was exactly that. It was one guy being the kid, the mum and the dad doing Monopoly at Christmas. It was so funny because that's what he remembers.
Yeah, and it's as Chelsea said, it's playing those board games, having those arguments, but you still sit back and laugh and go, what were we like, and how daft, and how many people played Buckaroo and got frustrated and that it just flicked as soon as you touched it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're talking about things that you remember from then. What are the kids going to be talking about in 20 years when they're trying to remember things?
Computers.
It'll all be about computers and how they done this in this game and blah, blah,
complete
blah.
Candy Crush.
Yeah.
I don't judge Eddie. I still play Candy Crush.
What about Farmville?
Yeah, Farmville. Dettle Baths, being out in the trees all day.
Nothing humbles me more than my Facebook memories when I go back and see like 3,000 statuses saying, "Can anybody send me a cow? Yeah. Can anybody send me a cow? Can somebody send me a unicorn?
Oh, on
Like I'm
Farmville.
literally, I'm sat there like this, literally like this with my phone going, delete that status, delete that status. All my Farmville statuses. It's hilarious. But then I'm from the generation that remembers like AOL chat, ASL, you know,
Oh,
MSN Messenger.
never install Yahoo because it messed your machine computer up because you couldn't never uninstall it.
About
I mean,
LimeWire.
I still remember.
Oh my
Yes,
god,
I
Wire.
had LimeWire.
LimeWire.
I still remember
People's
that
up there.
I nearly choked then trying to do the dial-up modem thing. Oh my
Mum,
god!
get off the phone. I'm trying to get my MSN working.
Hold on, I'm gonna die. Just I'm gonna unalive off camera. Sorry. I literally nearly choked then trying to do that. That's not even funny. And this leads
LimeWire
me
was
on to
such a
something
fun
completely
era.
unrelated. But if we're going to do gift manipulation while we're doing a show, because, you know, we'll have all the manipulation around these ways, I actually nearly unalive last night eating a bowl of Weetabix. My life literally flashed before my eyes. It was not even funny. I nearly choked to the point of unaliving because I'd eaten the entire bowl of Weetabix, and those who are regulars here will know, yes, we always go back to food. I'd had a bowl of Weetabix for my tea, and the last mouthful must have had the dry. Yes, that noise, Eddie. Thank you. The, the last bite, the last mouthful must have had the driest bit of Weetabix dust, and I nearly choked. It was just disgraceful. Justice for my throat and the Weetabix.
Uni for jelly, lime for jelly, absolutely.
Oh my god, I can't believe I nearly. Honestly, I think I'm gonna have to diagnose myself with something because I'm sure I've got something that leads me to the point of aspiration every time I try and open my mouth. It's not even funny.
Not going there. Not going there.
So here's another question, right? If it was no FYP shows, what would we like to see instead of FYP shows?
Well, do you remember TikTok before all that? Like, it was like 2020, I don't know who had it then, but it was all just like dancing and like silly memes. I remember just watching all like the memes and the new dances that people would make, and it was none of this like drama talk. Like, it just wasn't there. Like, it was just so fun. And then
Yeah,
it got
and
drama.
but it's going to go back to the point that I always repeatedly make, Jake, because we know that I'm nothing if not repetitive around these ways, is that the monetization of the app has ruined it.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Because
100%.
you don't get monetized for standing there doing a dance. That being said, I'm going to do a video later of the Queen Vic rap out of the new Pete and Baz song, because if I don't have a video on my timeline that says Big Minge Energy, what am I even doing on TikTok? But that's another subject. But you don't get monetized, you know, in that way.
It ruined it.
It just makes you laugh when you look at YouTube. That's not top. Well, it's not as toxic as this ad, but they get monetized by the adverts.
Well, I don't know. There was a lot of drama in 2019 with like the beauty community. That there's a lot of drama on there in America for like Jeffree Star, James Charles. So just as bad, I think, with YouTube, and probably not as bad, but it's still very toxic.
I'd give TikTok a toxic rating of probably 95, and YouTube probably 70. But this app is just clearly monetized. It's all for money. There's nothing really that you'd want to do on here for the money. You don't get the dog saying "I love you" and the cute kitties and the dancing, because it's got monetized, and mainly the adults have taken over the kids app.
I still just find gifting crazy. How you have to spend money, buy coins, and you gift it, and then they have the cheek to take a proportion of it, even though you've already brought from them. I just find it crazy, and gifting to me, I still don't know how people gift so much money. I get this, they're creative and stuff, but it's just crazy how much money people gift.
Like, can't be gifting because you pay tax on it. It's tipping.
So Bev says
it's crazy.
Bev says it's interesting that no one has an answer to what else we'd want. But do you know why I think that there isn't an answer, Bev? Because I don't think people want rid of FYP shows. I think people
No, if I'm
enjoy
being
FYP
honest,
shows. I think people watch FYP shows.
The
I think
psychology side of it. Why do you think Coronation Street's been going for so long? Because it's the drama that goes on it, and people like to watch it.
I think the problem
would
is,
you
like
want
everything
something
with this
else?
app, particularly as it relates to the drama talk side of things, is that people only say do away with FYP shows when their dislike for a certain creator comes into play. That's, you know.
So would you want something else? Or would you, are you happy with FYP?
Who, me? I enjoy the FYP.
Yeah.
I like
So would you keep
the FYP shows. I wouldn't want something else. And I mean, I'm of the mindset that if there's a creator that I don't like, then I just don't watch them, or I don't.
Oh, so which one has your strength?
I don't watch their FYP shows. I don't watch it to whinge about it, you know, or I don't watch it to bash a creator. And like Bev says, I would rather watch an FYP show than a battle.
Yeah. Battles is, if someone's battling or in a box, I come out, I'm just getting so bored. I just can't. Like, even I love Miss Red, but even when she battles, like, I don't really go in there because I get bored.
Yeah, I mean, I tried battling. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't for me. Like I said, I've done a couple of box battles, and if it came to battling, I would rather do a box battle than a normal battle.
Yeah.
But I
You were
think
so uncomfortable. You were so uncomfortable. I've never seen you so sweating and
it was
nervous.
awful. It was awful. I hated every minute of it. And that was why I didn't do it for very long.
No, I don't think it's your vibe, is it? It's not really your kind of vibe. No.
I think I did like 2 maybe. Oh, cockapoo, tell me why. I did like 2, I think, that I enjoyed because the vibe with the other person was okay. Other than that, it was just awful as hell. I really didn't like him.
The thing is with you, Jelly, is you're the perfect presenter to me because you sit on the fence. If the conversation is going against, you throw the question to bring it back to the middle. If it goes for the 4, you bring another question into the middle, and you perfectly, literally pose these how they should be. And I'm proud of you.
Eddie. You little sweetheart. You can stay, Eddie. I'll let you, and I'll pay you later, okay?
I personally like the FYP shows, but what I will say is, like, I liked it when there was like less of them, when you had like Tyrone, you had Miss Red, like even when you had Zach and EQ that do it. But now it's just like there's so many FYP shows, and things get really misstewed between like each FYP show, and there are some FYP shows that just use it to their advantage to just dig at people. And I mean, I find that more with the smaller FYP shows, not the bigger ones, the smaller ones. A lot of it is just to dig out somebody they don't like, and use the fact that they've put FYP into their bio bit for people to come in, to get people in to then dig them out in front of a bunch of people.
But aren't they more buddy lives than anything else? Little cockapoo, how are you feeling?
I'm all right, love. Yeah.
They are magic, but people will just say, yeah, it's FYP. I'm doing FYP to try and hide behind the fact of what they're really trying to do.
It's my opinion, is what they say.
Yeah, exactly.
As the mastermind of the clique.
Well, that, and people. So see that narrative. See how interesting it is that that's sort of the branding I've been given by other.
I'm really joking, though.
No, I know, but by other well-known FYP hosts. I got branded as this script writer for the clique, and it's just stayed.
Well, I kind of liked that one though.
So far from the truth, though. But what?
Yeah. But I did kind of like it. I was like, yeah, okay, let's think that Cockapoo is this big mastermind behind it all.
I'm just owning it, because the thing is, with TikTok, what I've found is, even if you can provide 100% bulletproof fact about something, no one cares. They've made their mind up.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But on the FYP thing, do you think it's the FYP shows that have boxes, or do you just think in general that it's FYP? Because DG and Angie got into a good discussion yesterday about whether, you know, she does an FYP show that's just completely standalone, it's her opinion. And he said, yeah, but when I went in, you basically turned all the boxes against me. I don't want to get into an Angie debate. That's not what this is.
No, yeah.
But people also have the same accusation of Red because she opens her boxes, whereas I don't think many others do now. I don't see the other shows, to be honest.
No, I don't. Do you know why I like it about Miss Red's? Because if you actually started watching Miss Red from when she was smaller, right, there was a lot of people in the comments that didn't have big platforms. You got to remember, this was a time, where you couldn't just jump in a box or do a live. You had to have a certain amount of followers. So when people didn't have enough followers to go live or jump in a box, they were just in the comments, sometimes not being heard. And I think people forget that when Miss Red started this, TikTok had different expectations before you could go live. So she gave people that didn't have a big enough platform to go live themselves a voice to be heard about things that were happening on the app. Yeah. I don't think that's that bad. And I also don't think she can control what comes out of people's mouths. And I think that's what people have got to be aware of as well. She can drop someone from the box, but they've got to have said something offensive before she then does that. So that's what people need to remember. But I think my problem is it's the FYP shows that claim they're FYP shows, but just use it to dig and bully people.
Yeah.
So in the comments, let's just do a pointless one. Do you prefer FYP shows that have boxes, smiley face, or that don't have boxes, sad face? So FYP show with boxes, smiley face, FYP shows without boxes, sad face. I personally prefer boxes, but that's because I'm a nosy bitch and I like to give my opinion.
Yeah, but I think it also gives you a bit of a rapport with the hosts, so you can build kind of not a relationship, but you can have that kind of banter. And you know, like I've been in Miss Red 2 times, and I always like to speak to her because, you know, so it's not.
What uphill for
you know what I mean?
I do also think, you know, when the people that do it on their own, I do often think that's just you trying to push your opinion out to other people to get people to believe your opinion rather than seeing what a majority actually think, which is what I think with standalone FYPs happens. You only hear that one person's opinion.
That happens with some creators that have boxes as well.
Yes,
you know
yes,
what I mean?
It does,
because
yeah.
even then, these aren't creators that are interested in opinions. They might open the boxes under the guise of wanting other people's opinions, but what they're doing is they're trying to create an echo chamber. Again, I'm repetitive, I say it all the time. There are so many creators on Drama Talk that exist purely in echo chambers, and that aren't, as much as they say they want boxes to allow for other opinions, they don't, because if you give an opinion that doesn't agree with whatever narrative they're trying to push, they will just drop you from the box. That's not enjoying other people's opinions or welcoming other people's opinions.
No, 100%. And I also think as well, like if you actually look at this from a bigger spectrum, right, of how many people that sit in the FYP rooms and actually watch the FYP rooms and watch the drama, that it's very small compared to the amount of people that are actually on TikTok. Like, I do feel like people think Drama Talk is like massive, but when you look at it in actual figures, it's not. It's a very small amount of people that actually watch a Drama Talk side of TikTok.
That's a really good point, Chelsea. So Jelly and I can both think of somebody right now whose room we go into, and we will mention some of the drama and the creators. And that person who's hosting the live stream will go, who's that? I've never heard of them.
Yeah, who?
Yeah, and I think people forget that as well. I think because people see thousands in people's room, right? They think, oh my God, that's a massive number. But if you actually look at it as a whole, it's really not. You've got to remember, the UK isn't the only people on TikTok, right? Like, there's lots of different countries that are on TikTok. It's a very small part of TikTok.
Yeah, and different algorithms. Like I asked my friends, they do like CLA and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, do you know Miss Red, or do you know Delusive, and they're like, who's that? And people don't know who they are because it's this very small portion of people.
Thank you, Pam.
And they're like GK Barry or those kind of big creators.
You know, you think you've got a little bit of do you know what I mean? Like when I did those battles, my very first battle I did was with Adam Zark, and you know, we listen, we don't judge, and he said, oh, I know who you are, and I was like, Adam Zark knows who I am. Oh, hello. But then if I went outside, I was like, oh my God, can you believe I was on TikTok the other day and Adam Zark knows who I am? They'd be like, who is Adam Zark? What are you talking about, you complete moron? It's just,
exactly.
And
you get wrapped up in it, don't you? You get wrapped up.
You know, I feel like I need an emote, a sub emote that says 23 million UK TikTok users. There is so much more to TikTok than just drama talk. And
100%.
So here's a question: do we like the fact that mods can control boxes, adding and dropping based on them, not the host?
No, I don't like that. It annoys the hell out of me.
It's frustrating because it's the narrative of that mod, not the narrative of the host. And I think what other gets me is when people hold the FYP host accountable for other people on the app. It's like they're just here to report on the FYP news. They're not there accountable for what X person does, B person does, and C person. They're not there to ban and block people. They're just there reporting the news.
That goes back to my point, Magic. It's like I said, you know, somebody has got to do something wrong before you can take that person out of the question, right? You can't then hold a room accountable for one person. Say, like, let's just say Miss Red, for instance, because I don't want to use some of the other creators because you know what it's like. But if someone says something outrageous in her box, they have to have said it before she can acknowledge it, do anything about it, or the mods can. You can't then crucify someone for that, because if they didn't say anything bad,
it's not them saying it, it's the host's reaction to them saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
exactly.
I say this, Chelsea, as somebody that has been held accountable, I assume, for my boxes or whatever. I don't know, you know. And the thing is, this is what I say about people saying, well, you know, we'll have all the opinions. You know, I enjoy conversation, I enjoy debate, I enjoy challenging opinions. And I like conversation. I like both sides of the coins. I don't like echo chambers. It's not my thing. If I wanted to go somewhere and have smoke blown up my arse, I'm sure I could do that. That's not what I want to use my space for. But at the same time, I do like to control my boxes in the sense that I will encourage people, you know, if I feel that somebody's veering off and it's becoming a personal attack, you can speak about somebody's behaviours without speaking about them personally. And that's what I like to do, you know, in my lives. I will talk about behaviour generally rather than a specific creator.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you can still be held accountable for that. I've been held accountable for that. You know, I've been blocked by a creator. I don't know what for. Because I think maybe because, going back to what somebody said earlier, because the comments are mixy. There are so many people that have such blinkered diehard support for creators that they spend their days shit stirring, screen recording and supergrassing. You know,
I'll just interrupt you, Jelly. So I've got, because I've been sort of poorly and I've been watching lots of different things going on over the last 6 weeks. I've got this feeling that there is a group of people that don't necessarily support anyone. You think they do because you see them in rooms and you see some positivity in their comments, but actually they've probably got other accounts where they're causing the most problems, doing the most. Yeah, and you know,
totally agree with you. There's like an anti-TOC or an anti-FYP out there that's
want to
just
see the drama.
stirring it. Yeah. I thought it was just me being crazy. Thank God it's not.
That's why I don't agree with people making multiple accounts, because if you're not going to say it right as who you are as a person and it doesn't relate to your morals, why are you making a fake account to do so?
Because they can say more and they can get away with more, and it's like we can all think of a creator or two that have been caught out on their burner account and not realise they're on the burner account because they're probably steaming or something, and they've said and done the most and then realised, I'm on my main, I'm in trouble.
Totally agree with you, because I think when you know that there's no drama going on, the app's very calm, very friendly, fun, and then you've got somebody in the background stirring something, causing an argument, causing a narrative, and bang, FYP goes off again.
I called it out the other day, and it was someone was trying to cause problems between Top Girl and Alex Brigham, and it was like that had like, and I ended up going into Top Girl's box, and I was like, Top Girl, I just want to make you aware, like, this actually hasn't happened, like. And then I went into Alex's and I was like, Alex, this isn't happening, because I think that some of the time, half of the time, the comments are the main problem. Like, I'll be completely honest with you, not necessarily the boxes, the comments. And I was like, this is nuts. Like, this ain't even happening, and people are trying to shit stir. Like, what's the problem here?
But not only that, Chelsea, I do then think that some of that comes back on the host. And I can only use myself as an example because I had this, like, I think it was last week.
With Alex, that someone was saying about, he was saying you shouldn't say these things,
It went a bit sideways, and then somebody came in the comments and was saying, just using Alex as an example because that's who it relates to, you know, oh, Alex is saying this about you, Alex is saying you've done this for clout and gifts, Alex is saying you're boring. Now, the thing is, as a host, I've got two options there. And this goes back to what I always say about, do you actually have to react to every action? I don't control somebody else's actions. I control my reaction. So I don't have to react. There is nothing written in law that says it is a law that I have to react to every action. So the Drama Talk playbook would have been, I should have then by rights gone off on Alex. Alex is a see you next Tuesday. Alex is this. How dare Alex say that about me? Alex, blah, blah, blah. But what all that's doing is breeding more drama and pushing more of a narrative. And then my comment run back to his and go, oh, Jelly's saying this about you. Jelly's saying that about you. Do you know what I mean? And all I said was, Alex is entitled to his opinion. I can't have an opinion on what Alex is saying if I've not seen him say it and I don't know exactly what was said. And this is something that pisses me off, whether it's FYP shows, box hosts, when you're basing an opinion off of a shortened clip. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you give an actual opinion if you don't know what was said? And that was all I said. Alex is entitled to say whatever he wants to say. Check my tick leap. I've made £6.88 off this live. Do you know what I mean? I don't really think it's not enough to buy me a decent amount of cake. I don't really think anybody's writing home about that. He's entitled to say what he wants to say, but I can't have a full opinion on that because I don't know exactly what he said. And equally, if he hasn't been in my live the entire time, he can't have an opinion on what I've done because he doesn't know what was said. All he knows is what narrative is trying to be pushed between the two chats.
Yeah, and also you've got to remember that a lot of what happens on the TikToky is it's driven by emotion, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when he says or does something, or when you do, or even when I do, I've done it myself. You know, I've gone in there and I've been absolutely heightened and said and done stuff that you think, God, was that me? Well, you know, and you see a horrible screen record and you think, Jesus Christ, where did that come from? And you can't take it back because it's bloody screen recorded.
Yeah.
We're only human, though, aren't we? And it happens in real life. You say things and
the chat
just react to
drive that.
You get all the adrenaline.
I saw that day, and I saw Chelsea trying to sort of keep a lid on it all.
Oh, I know, it was so ridiculous, and I just thought, for goodness sake, like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And it does make you realise that how much people do like to do a little bit of shit stirring on this app, and it's not needed. Listen, let's be real. There is enough drama with certain creators on this app. You do not need to be that person in the comment because there's enough drama. You don't need to make up drama on this app. There's enough of the actual stuff itself.
But then this is something else I struggle with, Chelsea, and I've said it before. I think if you've got genuine, what's the word? I don't want to say love because that's a bit weird, but if you've got, you know, if you genuinely support a creator and you know that telling them something is going to trigger them in a way to react online in a way that is going to get more hate come their way, why would you do that?
That it blinds, like it honestly frustrates me. It's one of the things I find most frustrating on this app. Like, I think as adults, right, we all have opinions, and the world would be a very boring place if we all had the same opinions. But at the same time, there's ways to go about them opinions, and there's ways to go about bloody, like, what people are doing with causing just random drama. Like, it baffles me, Jelly.
It's called having respect, though, isn't it? And that's the biggest problem. You have your opinion, Chelsea. I may not agree with it, but I respect it, and I give you that respect. And
100%.
it just frustrates the hell out of me that people can't have an opinion and not be right or be wrong.
Eddie, can I
It's
just
opinion.
ask Chelsea, was I atting you in a live last night?
No, I don't think you was.
I'm pretty sure I was atting you in a live last night.
Was I in? Was it about the Hayley comment stuff?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I was. Yeah.
And then that's another thing. I got really frustrated with that last night, because it's this whole, like, the narrative that's been spun on Hayley comment last night, that she doesn't have a degree in X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Like, come on, like, come back to reality. Like, I feel like people on this app need to come back to reality. If you don't know that person and you haven't seen something factually to tell you otherwise, don't make presumptions.
But this again is where lives are triggered up, fueled by dislike of other people rather than by actual facts.
Yeah.
And again, it's where the instances of listening to understand rather than listening to react. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was atting you at. I was atting you saying it wasn't her live. It was TikTok Jewelry Official's live.
Yes, she was. Yeah.
It wasn't her live. And that's the thing. I don't do mixy in comments. I'll say my opinion. And if I think somebody's saying something that isn't factual, like that last night, trying to push a narrative because of the dislike that it was somebody else's live, it was their own live, I will say, no, it wasn't. You know, I'll correct what I believe to be an untruth. But I just don't get the need to go mixing. Like you said, there's enough drama. Like, let's just put it this way, right? Drama top creators are very knowledgeable in what it is that they're doing.
100%.
They know what they're doing. They know how to play the game. They know how to play TikTok. They're not rookies at this. It's not their first rodeo. They know what they're doing. They don't need you mixing in the comments to try and create more of a divide, more of a dislike. You know, it's just crazy to me.
But how much is that TikTok driven as well? The manager's going, but if you manipulate it this way, if you manipulate that way, you can get more people in and get more gifts.
See, I don't believe that all managers do that, though, Magic. Like, I'll be real with you. Like, I don't believe that all managers do that, but I do believe that there's a lot of people, like, and again, I will repeat it, I'm not talking about the bigger FYP hosts. I do think there's a lot of people that see the numbers, see the gifts, and then just go off and create something, an FYP show, with no knowledge, no, like,
about some wrong person, like someone doing online that's underage doing a live, and they.
How many times, sorry Eddie, how many times have we had it just on a personal level where maybe we've seen something that we don't agree with on TikTok and we've reported it and it's come back no violation?
So many times. And I'm not even ashamed to admit it. Like, when I see stuff that's transphobic, homophobic, racist, and I've reported it, it comes back no violation.
And then you have these big creators on there
that are doing the size of the room and the numbers that the creator has will have something to do with that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you the secret? The bigger your gifting badge is, the more chance you've got of having your violation held. So having your report.
Well, on that note, public service announcement, if you want to increase your gifting badge, do it in this live right now. I'm not against that. I've got no fingers. What are you not doing? You're not even tapping.
That is crazy.
Not even met my gift target. I'm literally going to buy 8 fingers. I don't know what you lot are doing. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Because it's
manipulation.
Yeah, this is something else drama that's taught me. The more you insult your following, apparently, the more they gift you. I don't know what this is. You are disgraceful. No fingers here. Look, I've got a stump.
It just shows how much this app is run by money.
the thing is, it. You know, I've heard people say it's a children's app. It's this. Let's get that out of our heads. It's not for children.
No.
Anyone who's got kids who allows them to come on here, that comes with a health warning, right? Because we know, we see, we hear, and so do they. Right?
It's TikTok that needs to change that. You know, unfortunately, creators are not going to be able to change that. TikTok are, and us as parents need to put that in place. And I will say it until I'm blue in the face. While I pay for my daughter's phones, and while I pay for her contract, while I hope and pray that she'll be in education and she'll be thriving, you, young lady, will have to listen to what I say happens on your phone.
Sorry,
I think it was a children's app.
I'm putting the dog
when it
under
was
the blanket. Sorry.
TikTok, and it became more. So it's not a children's app from the get-go when it was TikTok, I don't think, anyway.
I don't know. I want to say
it
Musically was
changed.
very heavy pred related as well. There were a lot of preds on Musically. I don't think that was as child friendly as people think it was.
Oh,
No,
I
they
just
were
remember
hidden.
when they're making songs on there. I don't remember.
Apps like this are breeding preds. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
It attracts them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they can hide in plain sight.
Yeah.
And this is what we've always said. You only have one account. That account's done, verified with your driving license, and you don't allow it anymore. But that will stop TikTok making money, so they'll never do it.
And let's be realistic, right? If a child has been like a 13 plus, let's just go 13 plus, right? Under the age of 18, is on a live and being thrown money at them. That's not an incentive. That child is not going to go, oh, this is a bit weird. No, that child's going to go, oh, I'm earning money.
100%. Yeah.
So I believe that this app just breeds them, if I'm honest with you. And I think that's why, not because of necessarily the drama that your children might see, and they might see someone swearing or saying something inappropriately. I believe you should keep your kids away from them for much bigger things than that.
Just to throw a quick curveball, because Instagram now brought in the parent Instagram and the kids underneath it. Do you think that's going to affect Instagram, or because TikTok might have to do the same?
I don't think they will, because they care about money too much. It's just all about money. It will affect the money. That's what I think.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think that there are steps that TikTok could very easily put in with not much issue that may eliminate some of these problems. But like Jake's just said, and like we've said before, they're not going to, because of the money.
I'll be real with you, Jelly. Like, I think there's a bigger aspect to look at this, right? Because all social media platforms, you need to have an email address. And I think with an email address, you need to prove your age. I think if they did that, they would eliminate not just TikTok, but all social media platforms, because all social media require you to have an email address.
But you can lie. So I don't. The people we know, you and I have sat in lives where we've heard about people who've got 18, 19 accounts.
Right? Yeah, true. But I mean, like, if you send
it's IP address, Chelsea. Instagram have nailed it. You ban them once, you ban them for all time. And I think that is quite a motivator for, I'd say, about 80% of the people. Right, so there's 20% that will work their way around it in lots of different ways, but you can clear up pretty quickly.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying, Cockapoo. There are steps that TikTok could take, but the monetization of it is more important, because I don't believe Instagram is monetized in the way that TikTok is.
No.
They're popular for it, but they still can monetize it, can't they?
Yeah, but it's not, I don't think it's as easy as it is on TikTok.
Instagram, YouTube, and all the other ones are so hard to monetize, whereas this one, by throwing gifts, it's so simple. And that's why it's been easier for people to make thousands of pounds. Whereas YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, you have to pay for your ads. You have to be a part of the marketeers group. And it's not cheap, and it's money down the pit. I can speak from experience. I spent $4,500 to try and push my magic business, and it's got me nowhere. Whereas I put $4,500 on here, I'll probably get a bigger community that put my money back at me. But I'm not that kind of person.
That makes me sad.
It's part marketing, mate. I've learnt it.
Look at the amount of people that put effort into Twitter and have ended back up on TikTok because Twitter didn't quite give them the same sort of revenues. I mean, look at the way Tyrone does it. He balances it. He has to almost coax people into Twitter, you know.
And Twitch.
That's what I mean, Twitch, not Twitter.
I was going to say, I thought you meant only OF then. I was thinking.
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah,
I'm
Cockapoo's
gonna
the nail on the
drop
head.
down. I think I'm going to drop down in a minute because I'm actually busy working. I just keep getting distracted. I just want to thank you for having me in the box. I just want to say,
No worries,
Cockapoo, sending you
Jay.
such love and speedy recovery.
Mwah. You know we love you.
Yeah.
Big up, Jake.
You
I'm going
Thank
to
you,
drop as
guys.
well because I've got to carry on with the
Bye-bye.
work.
I'm going to wait to drop a little bit because I don't want to hear my voice when I leave. So I'll just for like 10 seconds.
Jenny, thank you for an amazing live again. Cockapoo, keep smashing it, sweetheart. Proud of you. And everybody else, love your opinions. And let's make this app change.
Thanks, Eddie.
Oh, I wish it was that. I wish it was so easy to make the app change, but it's just really not, is it? Like,
And it is hard, Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? It is. Going back to something that you just said. Do you know what I mean? Like, even I've done it, and I've been guilty of it. You know, I fire up a live some days, and I'm sat with like 3 or 4 people in here, really struggling to get any sort of conversation going, to get any sort of anything. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think, do you know what? The easiest thing in the world is for me to start slagging somebody off. If I started beefing now, I guarantee you I would have the views in. I mean, I might not get the gift, but I would have the views in. No problems whatsoever. So I can see why people do it.
It's an easy. It is a very easy way to up your following and up your room. It is, but I always stand by, like, if like we were saying earlier, it's out on the internet forever. Like, internet doesn't disappear. What's been put on the internet is on the internet for life. So it's just, although it's difficult, you've just got to sit there and think, right, I want to stick to my morals and I want to stick to who I am as a person. I don't want to change myself for this app. And I only want people in my room that are going to love me for me, going to support me for me, because a lot of these rooms, unfortunately, they're not there for these people.
You're all welcome to support me.
Sorry about the dogs blasting in there. The delivery man came and they like to try and kill him every day.
Yeah, mine are the same, Cockapoo. I don't know what it is.
Or at least they let you know when a delivery's here. Sometimes I'm not aware if the door gets knocked.
Mine lets me know if somebody 4 doors down has got a delivery.
100%. We had someone sort of mooching around the cars last week, and yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So they just come sometimes and check whether the doors are open or not, don't they?
Yeah, give a little
The lights came on and the cameras went off and whatever.
Oh God, people are sad, aren't they?
Yeah, I was wondering whether it was a TikTok visitor, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but you should have said it was Cockapoo, because obviously that will fuel a completely different narrative.
I could tell you what's been going on off the app, but I'm just not going to go there. I'm not going to get any oxygen.
You know what's going to happen? People are just going to say that you wrote the script for it.
I know. Yeah. It's like the 50-foot waves and the tsunami in Fuerteventura, isn't it?
Yeah, and you paying for the flights and everything.
Hilarious, yeah.
Yeah,
I love her now. I love her listening to her now. Cockapoo, you made a comment earlier, like you like to sit back and watch and see what happens. I am one of them people, and I know this might sound really strange, that I sit there and I find it so interesting watching people get manipulated and seeing a narrative being spun. And I do have to sit there and laugh because I do find it amusing.
This is what I mean about people being stupider, Chelsea, when they can't see it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it was the other week, there were 2 creators battling, and one was mock beefing with the other creator. And of course, their chats saying, we hate them, let's gift hard against them. And I'm like, can you not see what, like, it's so, for me, it's so transparent to see what they're doing. Yeah. Like, why can you not see what they're doing?
The ones I like are the ones where it's the slow build up. So there's 3 weeks of what I call breadcrumbing a situation.
You need to write me a script for this, Cockapoo.
They're not. It's not me. It's this Bloody dog. It's not me that's scripting it. I've seen it on some of the really, really clever.
Yeah, but if you've seen it, you can write
charming
the
narcissist.
script.
Yeah.
I want all the scripts. We'll have all the breadcrumbing.
I've got to be realistic to you ladies. It's just like Dream Boys. If they're very good looking and they've got their top up and they're flexing their muscles, I'm very easily manipulated to
Why
stay
do you
there.
think my décolletage is so low, Chelsea? Do you know what I mean? I always say what God didn't give me in fingers, he made up for in boobs. Although I will say with a predominantly female audience, it's possibly wasted. Maybe I need to get onto the male gifter side of TikTok. Not that I know many big ones, but I guess if we're going to solicit gifts out of people, I use the...
My partner hates it when I see a live come up with a half-naked man. He's like, babe, do you have to do that right next to me? I'm like, oh, babe, look, you can look, but you can't touch. Like, come on.
I stopped exactly what I was going to say then, because I love the way that I stopped exactly what I was going to say because of the inappropriate nature of it, to only then go on and say it anyway. We know that's what I am. I nearly said it's bobs for the men and fingers for the women. Take that as you will. You know, it's entirely up to you. Take it as you will. It's not intended in that way, but just know that there is a live that I go in that's completely not drama talk related. It is clothing related, and I mod for them, and in there I am known as the stunt pumper.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That is me. So if we can have justice for the stunt pumper in the chat, please, that would be amazing. So
you should change your change your name.
What, to stunt pumper?
Yeah. Do you know if anyone's out there and they're looking for a new troll initiative to get them to get them out of bed in the morning, what about Misread's Martha? Misread's Martha, and the whole content is who we believe Misread's Martha is on the app.
I haven't. Why have I not? Why do I feel like I haven't seen this account?
There isn't an account. Someone should create it. There needs to be a Misread's Martha account, and it needs to be somebody who just picks up every single screen recording of the person who is so obsessed with Misread.
You know that tomorrow morning that's going to be happening.
Yeah, whoever says they're going to do it, don't say you're going to do it, because it's going to bring you absolute shit and corruption, because basically it will smash it on the app, because there's just one person who is just ultimately obsessed with Misread and will just go for it. I mean, that 50% of their life is about her.
Ash, I feel like Cockapoo's writing you a script right now.
She's writing someone it. Someone's going to do it. It's going to come up tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be here tomorrow.
And I'm just going to sit and laugh because I've been a part of this live, so I know why it's happened.
You know where it's come from.
Hi, guys.
Kieran.
It's got Kieran's name all over it.
Yeah, I think it is Kieran. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it's Kieran. What have you been doing,
Well,
Kieran?
Jerry, I've been watching Married at First Sight.
You've been watching Married at First Sight? Would you get married at first sight, Kieran?
Well, I keep joking, but I'm gonna go on it. Can you imagine me on it? But I would be like,
surprise!
I'm too picky.